I am 25 and I have never had sex. But I have felt my body become one with another. I have felt shivers tremble down my fingertips to my heart and seep into my toes when touched by another, while my brain was under the influence of love. I have felt concurrent contractions that come during an orgasm as my hands slip down to remove their tongue away from my clit. They come and go. His hand, her touch, his chest, her breast. I've given her pleasure and I've wrapped myself around him. But penetration hurts. What you call making love leads to tears and cuts, agony and pain that make me afraid of finding myself in the touch of another, in the words of lyrics, in the jokes of a comedian, in the narrative of a rom-com, in the gaze of lust. Penetration, you see, by him or by her, is equally a crime done unto my body. This condition called vaginismus is a strange curse, one that is discovered only if you're privileged. But its discovery may take years, long after you've begun to grow in your skin, to grow in love, but long after you've been conditioned that sex is pleasurable, sex is love. The togetherness, the moment you become whole. I will never experience this sum. I will always wonder what happens when you consummate with the one you love. How do I tell her that this is where we will have to stop? I can't make love, but I can love a love that I've made myself for you and for others with this strange condition I don't understand. But let me try. Try, my love. I'm 25 and I will never have sex. I will never understand what it feels to be consumed in the flesh of another. But we can make our own interactive map. I can let you know how I experience love, and I'll do my best to please you such. This love they call universal has its own regional dialects, its tweaks and tests. Not all fit in the category of passing this litmus test. Hey, have you had sex? Almost. Almost is my complete, but I don't know how to tell you that by your definition, I'll always be an attempt, an incomplete assignment, symphony without an end note. I'm 25 and I will never understand the words written in books or in the context of a smile by a flirtatious date asking me what I enjoy about sex. How did this three-letter word become so laden with intent that when someone says fear of missing out under an event, I hear my insides rumble and writhe in disdain for popular culture, and I crumble inside just a little, dent by dent. There is no ultimate act. there can't be if you decide to be with me. I can kiss you till my lips begin to fade into your skin. I can hold you till my hand prints itself onto your carbon skims. I can give you all I have, but I can't give you that ultimate act they call sex. I'm here today to talk about how poetry can make things happen. What you just saw and heard was an ode to vaginismus, a poem that I wrote in 2016 about a lesser known and highly underdiagnosed condition called vaginismus, which I have. Vaginismus is a female sexual dysfunction where a woman is unable to have penetrative sex due to painful spasmodic contractions of her vagina. My struggle began in 2010. I knew that something was amiss. I still remember describing my discomfort and pain to my partner for the first time. I remember using the words, "I feel like a wall is blocking the entrance to my vagina, and I feel this fiery, unbearable pain." This was a time when I had completed my schooling and had entered the world of college life. I had begun to explore my body and my sexuality just as many young girls do. And there I was, feeling this horrible pain instead of what is supposed to feel pleasurable. So instead of opening up and feeling free around romantic partners, I began to go inwards. I developed this mental association of pain with intimacy instead of an association of intimacy with pleasure, which most women have. I began to feel isolated since no one around me that I knew felt this way. All around me, in books, movies, everywhere around you, you see people talk about intimacy and sex like it is the most easiest, natural aspect of life that just happens when you're ready for it. My words were failing me. No matter how much I tried to describe my pain, I was still being told that, listen, pain is part of the journey. Penetration is supposed to be painful. Maybe what you have is psychological. If only I knew back then what I know now, that women across the world in my position were being told the exact words multiple times by multiple people, even doctors. So let's fast forward to 2016. I come across an article written halfway around the world by a writer who was describing the pain she felt and the discomfort she felt in the same way I had. She had written, "I feel like a wall was blocking my vagina and I felt this unbearable pain." In that moment, I felt a pang of fear, sadness, and joy. Because I finally knew what I had to say to my gynecologist. I had to ask her to check me for vaginismus. And so, the gynecologist did a pap smear test and confirmed that I have vaginismus. Finally empowered with the term for this condition and developing an understanding of what I really have, which is a medical condition and is not my fault, all my insecurities, confusions, anger, sadness, frustrations, experiences poured out in the form of a poem. This poem, for me, became a symbol of personal freedom and liberation. As I started performing this poem more on various platforms across the globe, I realized that many women from different walks of life were living with vaginismus or similar conditions like vulvodynia or endometriosis, which many doctors had shunned as not real problems. And they too had been experiencing horrible pain in silence until they heard this poem. They heard this word vaginismus and could relate to this poem's narrative as it overlapped with their own life's narrative. I continued performing it even outside of India, and I met other creative minds like the brilliant visual storyteller Catherine Wall from Germany, who collaborated on this piece and adapted it to a poetry film, giving it a new life and leading to its dissemination in a newer form to newer audiences in the West and in Asia. National dailies started to pay attention to this condition. Vaginismus found space in the columns of newspapers and articles. Women approached my social media handles and sought help. The medical community began to focus more on the treatment and not dismiss it under the garb of a psychological pain. So you see, it started from one word, from one person, a nobody like me. And today, it has given many women a beginning point. They are finally empowered with a word about what they're going through. Today, there is a support group for women who have vaginismus in India, which is linked to the Global Vaginismus Support Group. Today, the medical community is treating patients with vaginismus with sensitivity. Today, that feeling and that pain is not nameless, and we are not alone. So this is how I see it. Activism arises from a desire for change. And you seek that change because of the bad experiences you have had or the wrongdoings you have witnessed taking place around you. So when you take these experiences and the thoughts you have that seek change and you put them together in the form of a poem, that poem right there becomes a tool for activism. Which is why all I want you to take away from the last few minutes we have shared together here is that your words, your experiences, your thoughts matter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Cherish the gift of being able to craft poetry and use that ability well, so that the change you wish to see can happen, because poetry can make change happen. Thank you.